Welcome back to Mainstream PC, everyone. My name is Julian, and in this video I will be showing off the performance of my latest build, which is my 2cool4skool build, my monthly build for June 2020. For more details about what's in this machine, feel free to watch the build. I'll put it in the card up here. But essentially the main components are a 3700X, Ryzen 7 3700X from AMD as a CPU, and for graphics processing it's the RTX 2070 Super from NVIDIA, or in this case more accurately from ASUS, because it's their Strix model. Either way, I just want to talk about the performance a little bit before I show the benchmarks, and yeah, let me start with the processor. 8 cores, 16 threads. If you know anything about Zen 2 processors or watched any reviews, you'll know it's lower clocks than most of the Intel counterparts, but it's got decent IPC improvements, so more instructions per clock. It won't reach the performance in games of an i7 9900K, for example, but it gets fairly close. And the price premium of a 9900K over a 3700X is substantial. So I feel like it's a very good value CPU. And for the graphics card, that's where I'm quite impressed, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But first of all, I want to say I feel like the super cards were the RTX 20 series cards that were supposed to come out in the first place. They make much more sense in terms of performance in comparison to their predecessor in Pascal than the original RTX 20 non-super cards made, because the rasterized performance increase from, let's say, a 1070 to a RTX 2070 is not that great, but the price premium was tremendous. So I feel like NVIDIA really goofed on this. I feel like the super cards are much better value. I still feel they're a little pricey, but with the fallout from the crypto boom and all that, graphics card prices are still soaring, in my opinion. I hope we're gonna get back to prices like they were, let's say, in 2015 or 2016. But yeah, let's see how long we'll have to wait for that. Either way, the 2070 Super is doing a tremendous job. It pretty much, when I compared it game to game against my 1080 Ti, it did a couple of frames better in most modern titles. Some titles, the 1080 Ti still took the crown, but I think it was only like probably not even 20% of the games that I've tested. So I think it's safe to say, with modern driver support and better driver support for the 2070 Super cards, it's outperforming my 1080 Ti, and it will do so in the future. But that's not really why the card impressed me so much. What really impressed me is now that DLSS 2.0, the upgraded version of DLSS, or the new version of DLSS, is actually really producing upscaled images that are almost indistinguishable from a native resolution render. The value is there. DLSS, I understand not every game supports DLSS, but the ones that do support it, and in the future there will be more of those, really bring a lot of value to these cards. Because you will see at the end of the video, I did a comparison benchmark of Control, the game Control, where I run it in native 1440p, and then I run it in the upscaled DLSS enabled version where the image is being rendered at almost half the size of native 1440p, and you won't be able to really pick it up in the video because I'm running it at 1440p, but I'm capturing at 1080p. Then there's YouTube video compression, and in general, unless I put it side by side, it would be very hard to see anyway. But I looked on my 1440p panel. I can't pick up a difference. Even standing still looking at something in the distance, I would be hard pressed to say that I can tell that this is upscaled. And at that point, when you're just playing a game and you can run it at almost half the original render size, the FPS increase is so dramatic, but the image quality still is retained at almost 100%. As said, I really tried. I could see a few different, like pixel to pixel, but if I didn't put it side by side, I would not have been able to tell if that's intentional or if that's just different than the original native image. So at that point, it really becomes like a good value addition, because if you have a 1440p panel running maybe at 144 hertz, and you have a visually appealing game like Control, but you would really like to also, enjoy the high frame rates, not just in the 70s, but actually above 100. DLSS is amazing for that, because it'll easily drive the frames up to 100 if you can run it at 70 FPS in native resolution, and gameplay becomes super smooth. You have almost the same image quality. Like I said, you would be hard pressed to tell that there's a difference, and it's all thanks to deep learning super sampling. So thanks to the tensor cores on this card, you can do this kind of magic shenanigans, making a bigger picture out of a smaller picture without really losing any image detail. And I feel there's certainly a value proposition there. And I'm very happy with the performance of this card in general. The rasterized performance is great. And with that being said, I feel like there's really a value proposition now for the 2070 Super over the 1080 Ti. Like if I had to choose between the two cards right now, let's say the 1080 Ti is out of warranty, second-hand unit, slightly cheaper than the 2070 Super new, which is what I see in the market right now, or here locally at least. But I get the card new and in warranty. I would pick the 2070 Super now. Small price premium, I'd be completely fine with. You get almost the same performance in rasterized performance, but you get the added value of having ray tracing or ray tracing support, real-time ray tracing through RT cores, let's put it that way, support if you want it. But what's way more important to me, or way more impressive to me, is the DLSS support, because then you can really drive high frame rates even when when your rasterized performance is not sufficient for that game to really push it into high frame rates, but you can just run it at a low render resolution and still get high frame rates if you have a panel that can support it. So I feel there's definitely value in that. And with that being said, I hope you enjoy the benchmarks. If you're building a similar system or planning to build a similar system, feel free to take them as a reference point for what kind of performance you can enjoy. And as said at the end of the video, there's a small comparison between native 1440p control versus DLSS enabled 1440p control, and check out those frame rates. You'll probably get why I'm quite hyped about this feature. This was Julian with Mainstream PC. Hope to see you again in the next video. Cheers.
Don't get between me and my gun, heretic!
You're good. You're good. You're good. And stop. See you around.
Ready for more?
You bet.
Let's hit it. Let's go.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
Couldn't pay me enough to salvage live munitions.
Sorry, Cal.
Don't worry about it.
I don't think these tools are gonna make it through the shift.
Up here. Now you look at that. A separatist ship. Haven't seen a Luke or Hulk in ages.
Yeah. Ages.
Breaking her will be big money. All right, let's go.
Look out!
Hands up! What the hell?
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Meet you at the clamps.
Depart this barge immediately. You are not approved trash.
I'm trash. Just not approved trash.
Easy there.
Just passing through.
close to finishing ahead of schedule. I can just about taste the credits. It's gonna be a wild night tonight. Let's get this job done.
Reckless Cal.
Good to see you.
You too. Don't get yourself killed.
That's the idea. Sounds like scrap rats. Creepy. Just passing through, guys. No need to come out and say hi this time.
Hey, Cal, I'll meet you at the clamps.
Sounds good. Be there soon.
There's a hole hidden behind that poster that leads to the real world. We all feel safe in that room. But sometimes something crawls out from behind the poster. And the ones that see it happen freak out and try to forget what they saw. I'm here. Why did you bring me here? Hello? Anyone here? Federal Bureau of Control. All these years I've been looking for them.